So do you spend any of your time or perhaps help anyone with that? If I were to take away all of your tasks, which could be
Mhm,
automated, and you get a load of free time, do you help
mhm.
anyone with how they can maybe use that time?
Well, this is the thing. You should have a strategist, right? Everybody should have a floating strategist. Someone, whether it's on retainer or whatever. And people say business coach. I'm like, listen, get a VCMO or get like a VCIO or get someone that can help you creatively think of stuff, right? While you're still in the business, while you're still around the business. And that's kind of like what'll probably generate a new type of revenue or drive the revenue line, right? It's this creative spirit. But people try their own strategy too long. And that's when they get like, they pigeonhole themselves. And then those businesses should be owned and not operated right at that point, right? Like if you built it to the point where you're not like it's not going anywhere, well then you just put it aside and then you get someone else to tell you what you can do to enhance that, right? Like it's like a module now. Business one, let's go move on to business two. Let's go move on to business three, right?
So would you say that the customer of the automated method is
Mm.
more you're looking for
Candidate.
more entrepreneurs than you are business
Yeah.
owners, quote unquote?
Uh, Entrepreneur. The thing about entrepreneur is it doesn't necessarily mean that they have what it takes. I think entrepreneur, sometimes that word's an excuse. So, like in the beginning, entrepreneur was, I don't want anybody to tell me what to do. That's how I look at it, right? Or I wanted to, like I'm working for someone and they're invoicing my time. I want the whole invoice. Entrepreneur, like that kind of stuff. And that word to me is it's tough because I agree with it. Yes, I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm also super, I have routines like crazy. I'm like, I use my OCD to my advantage. Like I'm super motivated and ambitious already. So it doesn't matter what I do. I'm just going to do something a lot, and I'm quick. I like to be like that. But an entrepreneur, you know, anyway, do you want like say the question one more time so I can like concentrate on not because that word is triggering, as you can tell, Thomas.
Oh, no worries. I mean, it would help
Mhm.
if I gave you a definition of terms. So, my
Yeah,
definition of
sure.
entrepreneur is someone who is into multiple businesses solving multiple problems.
Yeah.
Whereas a business owner is someone who perhaps owns that business but has no intention of going into other ones. So, in terms of your prospect, which one
Yeah.
of those two would you say is preferred?
Uh, Different than both. I would say that someone that totally they get it. Like they just get this flow of how business should work now. Like, when people say business 2.0 and stuff like that, like this is like business X.0, right? Like you just keep enhancing. So it's not really, I would say that the people that want to own businesses are the final type of person that would want to work with the automated method, right? Because like that's when you can start to really, because this is the thing. In my history of talking, interviewing, whatever you want to call it, like the one thing I notice is that business intelligence is like not even on the spectrum of a business owner, right? Like they're literally adjusting things to their own manufactured data. It's fantasy data. And I'm like, that the whole world has more data you can tap into, more information that you can apply to your business to like win, if that's what it is. But they're not. So the owner that gets that, where they can get their system so perfect that now they can start to put injection into certain, corporate areas of their business, whether it be modern marketing or whether it be modern sales, then it starts to drive like the business differently. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
that's the person that goes through the scope. So like, I'm not really I don't want to plug it, but like the two things in my head are the scope and the formula. So to me, the scope is the interview process to try to figure everything out. That's where you get people talking, you interview different agents with the customer, and you try to figure out if the potential's there for them to get to the next level. And then you start to roll stuff out. That would be what I would call the formula. The formula is where it gets fun because that's where you can adjust things, right? Like the automated method has a formula. I know exactly what the Google spend is. I know what I want monthly spends on social platforms for ads, like these kind of things, right? That's like not really like most business owners can't think of all that by themselves at once. They
Okay.
leave it up to the SaaS products, Thomas. That's the worst part. They literally leave it to the SaaS world. Oh yeah, that's why we use this platform. It does this. I'm like, but you have to do it. Like it doesn't just do magic on its own. And I say that so often. It's so funny. Anytime I talk to anybody that works for like a SaaS platform, I was like, what's the magic that someone's not going to use?
Well, have you got perhaps a favorite example or a case study of where someone is, let's say, doing too much, and then you take them through the automated method? And
yeah,
how that
sure.
looks
Okay,
after?
so yeah. So I don't want to attack people of certain age groups, or I don't want to separate people, but it is usually first, we'll call it this. Digital, when they're first adopters to a digital world that was different than what they were doing before. And then so they have a process that they carry over to the 2022, and I call them process defenders. Process defenders are my favorite because you can really show them efficiency like so fast, right? Because they're doing things because it's like what I said before, it's unnecessary workflow. So that type of business is the one where you can build like a disruptor stack, I'll call it, which is you can make choices to stack all the applications for that industry together that are perfect for that industry instead of them making those decisions, right? So when you push that all together, in terms of the case study I'm working on right now, it's like they are very heavily operations centric with Excel and like file-based management of information, no CRM. Their cloud account, it's not a cloud accounting, it's like an enterprise level QuickBooks desktop on a virtual machine, whatever. It's like all this stuff, every decision that we help enhances by 50-60%. Like it's crazy. They're so operationally heavy. Anyway, the case study I would say is that when I started showing this ROI, so not me, the team. So when the team starts showing ROI, it's very easy in the applications, right? Once they start using proper SaaS products, the KPI is right there, and you can extract an API if you want, right? And so like that's where I say that the best case studies are the ones that are really interested in Databox, right? Which is, I would say, the winner of SaaS platforms for KPI marketplace. And they're the ones that show you, like they have, not to go off the rails, man, but they have benchmarking. Do you know, like benchmarking, a dashboard of SaaS that has benchmarking. So like you can finally know where you stand as a business if you push all the data into, this one pane of glass. So you'd have like multiple panes for certain things. I like to label them, like modern marketing, modern sales, modern whatever, and whatever. And they're all different slides on your iPhone. Let's say iPhone. That whole idea of looking at it through a KPI lens, it really that's the testimonial I like to show, because after that, it's executive decisions and dashboards only, man. Like, I'm like, go show off, go buy an iPhone 12 Pro Max right now, put Databox on it, log it in, walk away from your business. Have fun.